Well. Good morning, West Ham fans. Now, has our transfer policy for the summer been revealed? I'm sorry, I was bopping away there. A very happy Thursday. For those of us in the UK, we are tantalisingly close. I can taste it to a long weekend, an Easter weekend. Looking forward to it. Hot cross buns and chocolates sounds perfect. Sounds a perfect diet for me. Don't need anything more, to be honest. I don't need to eat any more chocolate or hot cross buns. Before you say it in the comments, I'm fully aware I'm slightly quite rotund. Anyway, I'm looking ahead now. I'm looking ahead to the summer. And we keep talking about transfers and we keep talking about what's going to happen in the summer. People go, oh, David Moyes is still in the dugout. Nothing's going to happen. Look, whatever happens, whoever is the head coach come August when we kick off in the season, the transfer policy is going to be dictated by Tim Stainton. And they can like it or lump it. It's a continental style of management where the director of football takes basically the policy on board. He has a strategy which he gets implemented. Yes, there'll be input from the head coach, but in essence, they are a coach. They are not a manager anymore. David Moyes, if he signs a new deal, which he is possible to, is 50-50, to be honest. He either signs a team or he doesn't sign the team. If he signs it, he has to abide by being a head coach, which is why I don't think he will sign it. Whereas if you bring in a new manager, an Arnie Slot or whoever it would be, they would have to, again, work with a director of football, which they're more than used to doing. Now, one of the key things in the Premier League in terms of your squad is not only having 25-man squad, which would be nice to have for a change, but also in terms of homegrown quotas and also academy quotas. That's a slightly different discussion. But in terms of homegrown, the issue of homegrown quotas are they do come with a premium. Particularly if you buy UK or GB within the GB or England. Yeah, it's better. English within the English system. To be a homegrown player, you have to have played for 3 years at least for an FA registered side before the age of 21. So someone like Aaron Cresswell is homegrown. Someone like Ben Johnson is homegrown, but also he's academy because he came from the academy. But the issue we've had, and this issue we've spoken about quite a lot, is particularly for UK or English-based players, they don't tend to have as much experience as if someone could go to France and buy someone who's maybe a similar age and has got 50, 60 first-team appearances under their belt. Now, according to our sources, West Ham approach going into the next season, going into the summer transfer window, to be a big rebuild job, is to target foreign-based clubs who have English homegrown players. If you remember, if you remember, I meant to do this. There was a spate of 16, 17-year-old type players who weren't necessarily breaking into the first teams, but were deciding to go abroad to get first team football. Case in point, Jude Bellingham. Would Jude's progression, I mean, he was obviously a fantastic player. Would he have progressed at a similar trajectory if he had stayed in the English game? Possibly not. Maybe he would have got picked up by Liverpool in a couple of seasons down the line and then developed and then obviously now be a regular first-team player. Obviously going to Dortmund and hitting the ground running and being an absolute superstar, then going to Real Madrid and being arguably one of the greatest signings they've ever had in a short term at the moment. And obviously we're reaping the benefits in England. For us, Josh Cullen did the same thing. He was sort of teetering around the first, in terms of the first team, wasn't getting any game time. Went out on loan a few times, didn't really work. In fact, we're going to be going through all the loan signings later on at lunchtime, sort of rating them in terms of how well we think they've been working out for both us and the club. But he ended up going to Belgium and it worked out well for him. Obviously, maybe slightly fortuitous in that Anderlecht The manager was Vinny Company. He was his captain. Vinny goes to Burnley. First thing he does is bring Josh over. They get promoted into the Championship, into the Premier League, and now he's a Premier League player. Someone like Reece Oxford, again, similar thing, hasn't really worked for him just yet, but he's been going around German clubs and he's sort of found one now which is sort of working for him. And apparently we have a long list of these types of players who are now playing in foreign countries, foreign clubs, but are technically homegrown. Although apparently I don't think one of them is homegrown in terms of one of the names I've been provided, but we'll talk about it anyway, because I think there's justification to talk about him because of particularly, no, not that one. Yeah, this one. That's it. I do want this one first. I want to talk about Jake O'Brien. He is currently at Lyon. He started his football career at Cork City, then went to Crystal Palace, initially on loan. And then that was made a permanent deal. He was at Palace for a couple of seasons and then went to Lyon, I believe, for about £1 million. He is 6'6". He is 22. And he is also a Republic of Ireland under-21 international, but he has been called up to the recent friendlies against Belgium and Switzerland this international break we're in. So he could well make his debut, his full debut for the full Irish side. Now, we've actually got quite a good pedigree when it comes to Irish and Northern Irish players. So, he's right-footed. I'd have preferred if he was left-footed, but he's right-footed. You can't change him. Now, I think he's only been a homegrown. I think he's only been in an FA registered, FA recognised club for two seasons or 2.5 seasons, because Cork would be registered under the Irish FA, I believe. But anyway, so regardless of that, we're looking at him. And also, what's interesting, obviously, Cy Benrahma. Cy Benrahma's at Lyon at the moment. No doubt they've agreed a price, but maybe while they're there, we go, actually, can we have your centre half, young? We would definitely make a profit on him. And that's the thing, if you're buying out to in, you shouldn't have so much of a price hike as if you were buying him from Crystal Palace, for example. So that makes logical sense. He's young. He's as the absolute unit of a man. Elsewhere, let's talk about Marseille, and let's talk about Emran Soglo or Suglo. Yeah, Emran Suglo. Now, this guy I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure he is homegrown. He is a Chelsea graduate, played for Chelsea's youth team for several years. And the criteria is you have to have played for 3 years, at least 3 years, before the age of 21 at an FA recognised club, basically. So he was at Chelsea for 7 years. As a youngster, he's 18. He's a midfielder, but also a left back. He made his debut for Marseille. He joined Marseille in February 2022 on a free transfer, I believe. He was actually on trial at West Ham when he was a youngster. He joined Chelsea in 2015 at the age of 10, left the club after 6 years on trial with West Ham, and then we didn't take him up, but he went to Marseille, so he could have bloody waited. He was born in France, grew up in England. He also has Beninese descendancy as well. He's eligible for the French and English national sides due to dual citizenship. He's been called up for the under-15s, under-17s. He was called up to the under-20s for the first time in September. And he's been playing really well for Marseille. Really well. Currently, I mean, he's scored. I think he's scored already for Marseille. He's got a handful of appearances, but he's 18 and midfield and left back. I like it. We were looking at left backs, like Bradley Loco from Brest in League Art as well. But this guy, not only getting him in, he's homegrown as well. I like it a lot. Elsewhere, coming back to Blighty, another player we've been linked with quite heavily, and we've joined apparently Brentford in the pursuit of him. is Charlie Hughes from Wigan. Apparently, we've been in regular attendance at the DW Stadium for the Wigan Athletic defender. And us, Brentford, and Ipswich have all been credited in interest for the 20-year-old centre back. He claims he models his game on Virgil van Dijk and Sergio Ramos. So there we go. Sounds good at 20. Again, a very young age, and given one of the mantras, one of the things we're trying to do is lower the average age of the squad, bring in younger players, bring in players we can build up and potentially maybe sell on for a significant profit, which will help the PSR and FFP. Then he could be an ideal candidate. He won't cost the world coming from Wigan. No disrespect to them, but he won't cost the world from Wigan. But if he's successful, we can make a very nice profit on him. He's very good. If he's not, we'd still probably make a profit because he's coming from West Ham rather than coming from Wigan. So, yeah, interesting to know. But there'll be a whole host of these types of players will be linked to it, which I'm really encouraged about. Really encouraged about. Obviously, we need to see them, with the scarf, with the shirt, with the social media post in the summer. But it is really, really encouraging to see this is sort of the way we're looking at it, and it makes perfect. And it's actually fucking clever. It's a fucking clever way of doing it, identifying clubs, foreign clubs who have got homegrown players already in there. Because they'll come over, they've got the homegrown quota, but also they've got the experience under their belt. I think we interviewed Tim Breaker, who was does a lot of youth scouting. And he said, why waste time developing someone from the academy, or I can go to France, pick someone up who's made 50, 60 appearances, who's the same age and physically ready to go. Makes perfect sense. Anyway, keep an eye on the channel, and don't forget, go and watch the Dean Ashton interview. And even if you watched it already, go and watch it again and comment. Leave some nice comments and some likes and shares, and tell your mum and tell your dad and tell everyone down the pub to go and watch it. It's a fantastic interview, not just about West Ham, but what it means to retire as a player. Really emotional stuff. I was quite choked up listening to him. But anyway, check that out, and also keep an eye on the channel. Later on at lunchtime, we'll be going through what I'm going to call the Lone Rangers, going through the loan report, talking about all the players who are currently on loan on West Ham, which have been hits, which have been misses, that type of thing. Until next time, don't forget to comment, share, like, all that good stuff, and take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my bloody friends, and come on, you irons. Laters potatoes.